There are accusations that a process meant to protect patients is nothing more than doctors protecting doctors. The state's medical board receives thousands of complaints every year.
And while some doctors have action taken against their licenses, most do not, even for obvious errors. WRAL Investigates' Ashley Rowe went through hundreds of cases and took these concerns to the board.
And once the pain subsided, then that's when I realized, hey, I have no feeling. I'm completely numb.
John McKenzie says hernia surgery changed his life, and not for the better. Severed nerves left his entire midsection numb, an adverse reaction he says he was unaware of.
It wasn't even mentioned by this particular doctor.
After getting second, third, even fourth opinions, he filed a complaint against the surgeon with the North Carolina Medical Board.
There doesn't have to be a patient injury.
Brian Blankenship is the chief legal counsel for the board. He says the board's threshold for punishment is simple.
Did the doctor violate the standard of care?
In McKenzie's case, the board found the doctor didn't.
I understand, and it can be frustrating for patients where they have a bad outcome and the board says we find no violation of the Medical Practice Act.
WRAL Investigates went through the board's annual report and read hundreds of decisions against doctors.
They can put conditions on a license, issue a public letter of concern, officially reprimand the doctor, suspend a license, and in the most severe cases, revoke a license. The board made 204 of those decisions in 2023. The board reprimanded doctors 33 times, suspended 16 licenses, and revoked just 3 for things like healthcare fraud or convictions for violent crimes. That means 1.5% of decisions by the state medical board led to a doctor losing his license.
If you get fired from your job, you can go do that job somewhere else. If we take your license, you can't do what you've trained you to do anywhere else. You're done practicing medicine.
Going back to that punishment pyramid, we had questions about the official reprimand and a public letter of concern, which clearly states the board does not consider a public letter of concern to be a disciplinary action or a limitation or restriction on your license. WRAL Investigates read all those public letters of concern. We found 66% of them involved substandard care, including errors in the operating room. We're talking about operating on the wrong leg, failing to diagnose cancer on multiple occasions, and not performing an imaging on a 23-year-old obese patient with diabetes who went to the ER complaining of chest pains. That patient was discharged and died from a heart attack the next day.
The doctor at the end may have operated on the wrong arm, but we have to look into, well, what are all the steps that lead up to there that got us there?
As for McKenzie, he remains frustrated by the process he thinks is stacked against patients.
And if I could have told the whole story, I think that they would probably not want this physician that operated on me doing any more surgery in North Carolina.
Ashley Rowe, WRAL News.
Now, if you have a concern about your care, make sure you file to the appropriate board. The medical board oversees doctors. Different boards cover jobs like pharmacists and nurses.